Digital things was not there right when I started my career, but I was a normal graduate, right? I did my graduation, and then I got into the industry that was there, which was booming. That was an BPO industry. You must be aware of the global problem, right? The global warming.
Yes.
World is impacted with that. It is not about the technical skill or the soft skills. First and the foremost thing is that you just need to master your relationship skills, right? If you're good in relationship building, skills, then you will be able to penetrate. You will be able to interact with the people around, identify the pain areas, identify the possibility of scaling up, and based on it, you can just define the strategy to move forward. Hear the news, right? The cyber fraud or the hacking, these are the rise, right? So security has to be there at the middle of everything, right? Whatever the things that you do, is anyone who is a human, right, who understand the human sentiment, right, can be a distinguished leader as compared to any other leader. I've gone through a lot of practical use cases, marketing research. Global warming is at the peak, so whether you like it or not, like, you have to do it. All the measure has to be adopted to reduce the carbon inflations. Internet is a world, right, wherein you yourself can study, provided you are disciplined, provided you are consistent, and provided that you have a common sense. Once you just bring these three things, you can learn anything, and you do not need any support from anyone. Okay, so just to start, right, it everything doesn't started from digital transformation. Digital things was not there right when I started my career, but I was a normal graduate, right? I did my graduation, and then I got into the industry that was there, which was booming. That was an BPO industry. You must be knowing the call center, right? So I
Yes.
got
Yes.
into a call center, right? I worked for a couple of years there. The benefit and the advantage that I got from there is that my communication, my negotiations, and handling the foreign client, right, has improved in that. So I joined there as a fresher. After that, after a period of like 2.5 years, right, when I just has a little bit more informations about the industry, right, I moved towards the process and then to the technology.
Okay.
Startup is just an enabler, right? So if you talk about the change in the landscape, initially when we started, it was more of an e-commerce, but right now it is more of an m-commerce, that is a mobile commerce. So you can very well understand, and you must
Yes.
also be an user of it. Initially, it used to be on website that you're going and ordering something, but now you're just ordering from your mobile. So there is a change. uh, you must be aware of the global problem, right? The global warming.
Yes.
World is impacted with that.
Yes.
So each and every country is has defined certain frameworks and policies to reduce the carbon
Okay.
footprints. So as an go green ambassador or a go green expert, right, my role is to find out the possibilities wherein there can be less use of resources, so that it doesn't adds more to the environment, right, resulting in reducing the carbon footprints. See, it is not about the technical skill or the soft skills.
Yes. Yes.
First and the foremost thing is that you just need to master your relationship skills, right? If you're good in relationship building, skills, then you will be able to penetrate. You will be able to interact with the people around. If you're able to interact with the people who are senior to you, who had more knowledge about you, you can take a mentorship. The moment you take a mentorship, you get an idea, right, what they have been doing, how they have been doing, and you can just learn out of it. That is part one. The second part is that, um, apart from anything, that the only key thing of success is communication, right? You may be graduated from MIT, but if you're not able to express yourself, the world will not be able to know you, right?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to communication, both verbal, written, you have to have that, right? And that comes with practice. Business executive will always play a very key role. The reason being is that, whether it's technology or whether it is FMCG or whatever, right? You need business guys, right, who understand the business, who understand the sales who understand the margin to
Yeah.
execute it. Right? Otherwise, you may have an best of market, right? The company itself will not be able to sustain for long. It totally depends from the requirement gathering phase, right? Requirement gathering phase. So you have the sponsors. Generally, we have a framework of sponsors. Like for example, if there is a marketing team, so there will be an head of marketing, maybe the sponsor, right? So he will be collecting the informations about the need of the tool or the changes that need to be done in the tool, which is getting used by their folks, right? So based on it, right, we can just accumulate that, and then we can figure it out that for per department, per application, what are the changes requests that has came in, and as per the budgeting can be done, and project planning can be done and it can be executed. Yeah. No, the as is, right, what exactly exists at that point of time, right? Identify the pain areas, identify the possibility of scaling up, and based on
Right.
it you can just define the strategy to move forward. It is governed by the contract management and the SLA that we have with the vendors. So that's how we manage along with our own interpersonal skills. Well, if you just have observed and have just heard the news, right, the cyber fraud or the hacking, these are at the rise, right? So security has to be there at the middle of everything, right? Whatever the things that you do to
Okay.
protect your business.
Okay.
Everything, people, process, and project. First, you have best of the people, right? And then
Okay.
you have well-defined processes. When you have these two things, you can just engage them in the project to have it smoothly run. Well, if it's a strategic project, right, obviously the instruction and the direction has to come from the top level management. Otherwise, there can be a little bit hesitance and resistance at the bottom level. So it is important. Anyone who
Exactly.
is anyone who is a human, right, who understand the human sentiment, right, can be a
Okay.
distinguished leader as compared to any other leader. Yeah, I have gone through a lot of practical use cases, marketing research, running around in the markets, right, on various assigned projects. So that has helped me to have a fair practical knowledge and idea, which is now getting used in in my job. It's just given me a global exposure how the things are happening across the globe. So that's the difference, right? While studying in MBA and from Lal Bahadur, it was more of an domestic side, right? So even the
Right.
case study, the markets are confined to the domestic arena. But while doing it from the inside, it's like global canvas is there for me. Get your basics right,
Okay.
right? Don't get yourself confused with lot of things at the one go. Okay.
Okay.
Understand one and two different languages, programming languages. Just check out the use cases, right? Implement it, see the result of it, right? And then you just move to the next stage. Well, probably digital transformation will not be suitable for a student because it requires an experience, knowledge to get into it. But when it comes to cybersecurity, there are a lot of certifications and courses which are available in the market. So they can avail that, and they can also take in help of the professional platform like LinkedIn
Yes.
to join the groups, right, and get themselves knowledge from there. And this has already started impacting the job market as well as the business. So as of now it has not matured, but as on we move, right, we're going to see more frequently this is going to use, and this is going to bring in an ease in the business as well as agility in the business. As I told you, right, global warming is at the peak. So whether you like it or not, like, you have to do it. All the measure has to be adopted to reduce the carbon inflations, and so it will be there. We understand that all the business that we are doing are now we are doing in over the mobile, right, most of the time. And while we are doing it, we understand that the kind of data, the transfer that is happening across the globe, it is not even in millions, it is in trillion. So while we are doing of that scale, the speed has to be there, right? Then only there will be less there possibilities of less transactions being failed. So 5G will add on to that speed and boost the complete ecosystem. Get into a lot of things without maturing and learning right from the basics. First of all, whatever has been taught in your school, right, try to relate it with the practicality, right? Internet is a world, right, wherein you yourself can study, provided you are disciplined, provided you are consistent, and provided that you have a common sense. Once you just bring these three things, you can learn anything and you do not need any support from anyone. So it's more about individual, how what is the eagerness, how much fire that person has inside, right? These are the thing that is considered, right? If you are able to do it, once you are able to do it, right, you're going to get picked up in the market. And let me just tell you, there is still a shortage of skilled technical resources as compared to the demand that we have.